Hello, everyone, and welcome to Olde World Tech Fridays, episode 31. This is our first episode of the new year, so hopefully everyone had a great new year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Proto Jedi, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan, of Everything's Broken Garage, and Trina of Trina's Technobabble.
Hold on, I'll move over a little bit so you're actually pointing at me.
I'm having a hard time.
I see that.
Oh, how are you guys this evening?
Doing good.
Not bad.
I have a beer, so I'm drowning my sorrows with my beer.
Oh, good. That's healthy sometimes.
Yeah.
Who do we have in the stream this evening?
Who do we have? We have
In the stream, it's me, you, and Trina.
You know, the chat.
in the chat. I knew what he meant. Smartass. I think we need to find another new co-host, Frank. That's all I'm saying.
Hey.
Actually, this is the only tech channel that I know that has a mix of U.S. and like American and Canadian.
That's true.
It's true. And a mix of genders.
Yes.
That is also true.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So who do we have in the chat tonight? We have Retro Mac UK, also known as Martin.
Martin.
Go check out Retro Mac UK. He just released a new video today
right.
for
We
Retro
did, yeah.
January.
Yep, some January recommendations I saw.
Yes.
I gotta check it out because I was asked. We also have Scarlet the Four-Eyed Cuda, Curtis Boyle, JC, all the way from Newfoundland. Eric's Edge, Got Bomb, and finally Sean, or also known as Geek with Social Skills.
All right. Well,
so
I'm sure a few people will roll in over the course of the next few minutes.
Yeah. And we might have more watching than what's chatting.
True enough.
On Olde World Tech Fridays, we talk about a random assortment of things.
Assortment.
Sometimes new things, sometimes old things, mix of this and that. But as I was thinking about topics this week, I couldn't help but laugh about some of the headlines that I've read recently. Not really like tech related as we would say, like computers, but a different type of technology. And one of them claims, to be an engineer and have an engineering background and whatnot. And for those of you who are confused about what I'm talking about, I am talking about the epidemic of tunnel building we have here in the United States currently.
Okay.
For those of you who are unaware, we have a huge uptick in tunnel building activities across the U.S. apparently. Most recent on the news being in New York City under the Jewish synagogues. They were building some tunnels, and you can just do a quick Google search and find out all about that kind of stuff. But I also hear other stories about TikTok Tunnel Girl. This woman who has been building for months now a project in her Virginia home, which was just recently shut down this past week. She was building a secret tunnel storm shelter on the side of her home's basement. It was shut down by city officials. Now, she lives in Herndon, which is 20 miles or so outside of Arlington. So she's really close to the city.
Yeah, not really rural.
Not really rural, but apparently the reason why she got away with it for so long, I mean, she was posting the entire time as she was building this. But none of her neighbors apparently noticed or anything because a lot of them are immigrants and they don't want to be involved or alert the authorities or any of that kind of stuff for fear of all kinds of different things, which I get.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you check it out, there are all kinds of different postings of her doing electrical and water and concrete work and rebar, and she built her own mining cart to transport the rock and stuff that she's taking out.
Cool.
Very cool.
Out the side of the house, but the city official shut her down because apparently she's digging under the neighbors' houses as well.
Yes.
One, she had no permits, but two, they're concerned about a collapse. But then that reminds me, I feel like that other guy a few years back where he had a miner that he had hired off of Craigslist or something that was building a tunnel for him. It was in the Virginia area, I feel like, Maryland or Virginia. The guy died. There was a fire, an electrical fire. So the guy died down
Oh
there.
my
Right.
God.
He was, brought up on charges and stuff. But somebody apparently knows. Some people know things that we don't know, I guess, is what it comes down to, because there's a huge uptick in tunnel building. I don't know. Yes, that's it. I don't understand why everybody is building tunnels currently. Like, it's just some type of craze about tunnels these days. But I just thought it was interesting that there's so many stories so recently. Like there's so many recent stories now over the past couple of weeks of tunnel building.
Oh.
So I'm not sure, but like I said, the TikTok girl says she's an engineer. She doesn't say what kind of engineer she is, but she says she's an engineer.
I just want
I
to
believe
point out,
there
what
are
the
other
technical
synagogues
question?
besides Jewish ones.
I don't
It's
know.
not
Is
just Jewish
there?
people who call them synagogues, I believe.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's Colin Furzel or Furzel, the guy that I
Yeah.
follow as well. I just realized it's the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching him build a tunnel for a while now.
But isn't that the one that is that a new one too? Like a more recent one, or is that the guy that got in trouble?
This is 2 years ago he started it, but I saw updates on the tunnel like maybe a month ago, so he must
So that
still be
can't be
building
the
it.
same one.
Oh.
This guy. Well, what happened was this guy like got somebody in off of Craigslist, and he would blindfold the person and drive deliberately for a couple hours.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, that's not
around,
this guy.
and then took him to his
Colin-
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Colin
that the
builds-
person wouldn't know where it was located.
Colin builds all sorts of like weird, steampunk and sci-fi props and
Is this
all.
the guy in the UK?
Yeah, he's in the UK. Yeah,
I saw that one. That one's cool.
I just posted it in the chat.
Yeah, he started out with under his garage, I think it was.
Yeah, he just wanted like a trap door.
Yep, that one was pretty cool. I've seen that one for a while now. So,
Dr. Techie, would that be called the channel as it was in the between UK and France?
No, this would be the hit movie, the 1995 hit movie, The Rock, starring a very old Sean Connery and some weird sexual beads that are full of some sort of VX nerve agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my. But I just thought it was interesting that there's like this huge uptick in tunnel building by random people at their houses. I mean, I think it's cool.
I don't know. Do you think it's kind of like? Do you think it's kind of like when you like look out in a pasture and all the cows are lying down? You know, there's bad weather coming. Do you think like when Americans start to go underground, the poop is going to hit the fan?
But the thing is like for people to build one like under their house and stuff, I don't know that would honestly be sufficient because with today's bombs and missiles and things like that, they penetrate quite a ways now. It's not
for
like,
sure.
like.
But that's assuming you're the target. That's assuming you're the target.
But even with Fallout, I would say that only being 5 or 10 feet underground, I don't know that would be sufficient.
So here's what Frank is alluding to. Somewhere on his piece of property,
he's building
at least 10 feet underground, he is building a tunnel.
Yeah.
For those who would like to volunteer for a work detail, fill out the contact form on the website.
I just keep hearing the theme song from The Great Escape playing over and over in my head.
I just think it's interesting, especially because I did look up a few sex dungeon. Oh my gosh, an underground sex dungeon.
No. In fairness, it's if you take away the sex toys and the swing, it's just a regular dungeon.
That is true. That's very true.
Right. So,
I just think it's interesting. So, like, if you Google the TikTok tunnel girl thing, and you'll find videos and stuff. Like, I feel like there were like at least for her project, she put a ton of effort and thought into everything. Like, she did a very good job. Like, she didn't know enough about the electrical, so she went out and researched it, and then she got conduit and learned how to do it. And I think her project was pretty neat. She did concrete. Cool. She actually put rebar and stuff in and all that. Cool. So I think
the big problem is I feel as though she'll now have to pay a fine, plus she'll have to pay to have the hole filled in.
I think so too. That's what I was wondering, how expensive it's going to be for
it'll probably be quite expensive, because I would imagine it will be the city deciding who gets the contract to fill the hole.
Yeah.
And that's a license.
Well, not only that, are they going to want to tear your house down to fill the hole properly?
And then technically your insurance won't cover it because it's you did it. It's not like it was an accident.
Yeah, so right. I just, it's a whole can of worms there. I just think it's one thing to build a tunnel in secret, but it's another thing to actually post videos and then think that there's not going to be some type of repercussion, because the way stuff gets around, and it did get popular.
Well, it's kind of one of those things. It's kind of like anybody who's a bit of a prepper for the end of the world. Any of the good ones won't tell you that they're prepping because they don't want you to know. So like when you have those TV shows, Ultimate Prepper and that kind of stuff, like these people are stupid. They go through all this effort and everybody knows where they live and what's in their bunker.
But I always laugh whenever I look at these things, because I'm just like, like all these people that are prepping and have like all these thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever in prepping stuff at their house, whatever. What are the odds of you being home at the time something happens?
Well,
or
in fairness,
if you're out, that you can make it back to your house?
In fairness, that's why you have a bug out bag, and that's why you have multiple drops. But
I'm like, man, people put a lot of money and resources into one location, thinking that they're going to be there at the time something happens.
I know several people who do cache drops. So like they'll have some stuff at their house, but they'll also have some stuff strategically buried.
I feel like that's smart.
around the area they live, so that in the event they're not really home or they're at work, they have access to
because let's say there's natural disaster like flooding, tornado, anything like that. Right. Like, what are the odds of you being able to get back to your house? Yeah, I just think that's interesting.
Trina?
Yeah, I just had a thought. So you know how VCF Midwest has been being really secretive of where their new location is? It's because it's
a tunnel.
It's in a bunker.
It's a tunnle.
It's in a bunker.
Yep.
Actually,
so
in
you heard
fairness,
it here.
A vintage festival inside an old Satan
missile silo or something.
Missile silo would be amazing.
Well, to a certain degree, VCF East is that because they have
it's in a military base.
Basic
Yeah.
That is interesting. I still think it's at Ron's house. That is funny. Yes, Retro Tech
Tunnel Fridays.
Yeah. I just thought it's interesting.
It is interesting. It's funny how different. I also find it's funny, and I don't know if it's like, you ever notice everything happens when things happen, they tend to be like multiples of the same thing.
Yeah.
I always refer to it as the summer blockbuster movie situation. You ever notice that every summer blockbuster in the 2000s and 1990s always had a almost like a clone? You had Dante's Peak, you had Volcano.
Yeah.
You had
same premise, different story.
Right. You had Deep Impact. You had what is it? Aerosmith singing. No, Aerosmith singing with Bruce Willis, that music video, and then you had a Twister and Night of the Twisters, or there was a couple of tornado movies that came out around Twister time, right? So same idea. You always seem to have like one of these little stories will pop up, and then someone will be like, "Well, actually, 6 other people we know in the same area are doing the same thing, so let's go interview them."
You know what's cool? Yeah, Armageddon's another one.
Armageddon, that's what I was talking about. Bruce Willis and Aerosmith music video. Armageddon.
Oh yeah, I don't want to miss the thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was? I think that's what it was.
So should we do this week in tech history?
Yeah, I already have it pulled up, and it kind of goes along the lines of disaster and things. First radar contact with the moon is made January 10th, 1946.
Were we ever worried it wasn't there?
They had to send radar first to get the camp set up. So that makes sense.
Right. Because Hawkeye couldn't set up the gin still if the camp wasn't set up.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha. Sorry.
Sorry.
Along the same lines, moon rocket was announced January 10th, 1962. NASA announces plans to build the C5 rocket booster. It became better known as Saturn 5. No, 4. V is 4, right? And Roman, no. V is 5. IV is 4, right?
Sorry, IV is
V.
4.
IV
Yeah,
is
so
4.
V is 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Which launched every Apollo moon mission. Let's see, January 10th. There's several January 10th. January 10th, 2006. 7 months after announcing that Macintosh computers will transition from PowerPC to Intel, the first Apple computers to ship with Intel processors are released. The Intel-based iMac and MacBook Pro models will soon be followed by the rest of Macintosh line in 2006. The importance of this transition can not be overlooked, as it enabled a level of compatibility with Windows computers never before thought possible. Through virtual machine software or Apple introduced their own boot camp technology. People could run Windows software directly on their Macs at the same speed as Windows-based computers. This effectively removed a huge roadblock that many people thought owning a Macintosh computer came with.
Actually, and sorry, on that note, just to jump in, I know several companies and people who, after that was announced, bought Macintoshes just to run Windows.
Oh yeah,
funnily enough,
coding people, a lot of coding people do,
because they just assumed it was better hardware, right?
Right.
So,
let me see, what is the next
But a
one?
Core 2 Duo is still a Core 2 Duo, no matter if it's in a PC tower
it
or a
is,
Mac.
but you know the idea that they think the hardware is better built.
Yeah.
You know, right? It's kind of like an Acer computer can have a Core i whatever, and it's just still a crappy Acer computer.
Which I'm working on right now.
Exactly.
Let's
anyway,
see.
sorry, go ahead, Frank.
First solo flight from Hawaii to California. January 11th, 1935, Amelia Earhart becomes the first person, man or woman, to fly solo from Hawaii to California.
Nice.
January 11th, 1978, the Soyuz 27 links with the Salyut 6 and the Soyuz 26, marking the first time that 3 spacecraft are docked together. The Telstar 401 satellite fails mysteriously, January 11th, 1977. Satellite owned by AT&T. Hang on. Can you pull that link up, Trina, and read the last couple?
Yeah, what link?
In the private chat. Yep. Continuing from the iPod Shuffle.
iPod Post. So this is the iPod Post major losses for January 12th, 1996.
What? iPod to January 1996? What?
I don't know. Okay, so because he talked about Boeing. So iPod Post major losses, January 12th, 1996. I'm going to just start over again. Apple Computer announces that it will post a US 68 million first quarter loss. It also announces a restructuring plan to reduce the company by 1,000 employees. This event leads to the resignation of Apple CEO Mike Spindler, who is replaced by Jill. I don't know how to say Jill's last name. Jill eventually purchases Steve Jobs' company Next, which leads to the development of Mac OS X, or as we were saying, Apple Mac OS X 10,
Correct.
as well as the return of Steve Jobs.
If you're going to say it, you better save it right.
Right? As well as the return of Steve Jobs as Apple CEO. So that's the news in this week in tech history.
Cool.
Do you have a topic?
I do. I have a couple of things I want to talk about. A few things that are happening at CES this week, as
can we just jump back for a quick sec?
Yeah, sure.
To a comment that Joe made back then. Macs, Lenovo's, and Dell's were all made by the same company in Taiwan.
Yeah, and then I said, where did I say that to? Foxconn.
Yeah.
Foxconn manufactures everything. They are the developer and manufacturer of pretty much everything that's cool.
I remember Foxconn motherboards. Yeah.
Yeah, and they make some of their own stuff too. They make some of their own branded stuff, but
yeah,
they were OEM provider.
There was Foxconn branded motherboards. I remember back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my keyboard hit the M instead of the N. I think it is Foxconn, CON.
Oh, is it? Could be. Yeah.
It's double N. Yeah. It's
okay.
But pretty cool company. I know that they were making the iPhone originally when it first came out, and they actually had a lot of issues with employees being overworked. It was actually terrible. I don't know if you remember when the iPod or the iPhone first came out. They had some serious mental health issues at their
factories.
At their factories. Yeah, there was some suicides and some overworking, and it was pretty terrible. Yeah, that's where people got the idea that small children make the iPhones. Well, it wasn't small children, but it was some pretty overworked employees who were getting paid very little.
All right. So, on that cheerful note, go ahead.
All right. So, this week, CES, Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. Some pretty cool stuff coming out of it. I'm not going to go through everything I've seen so far. Obviously, there's been some real push for areas that we know about. EVs have been pushed pretty hard. I know that Sony and Honda's joint EV project was unveiled. I think it kind of looks,
for those of us out of the loop, what is EV?
Electronic vehicles, vehicles, EVs. Yeah, and across the hall from CES is the Adult Film Awards. You're not wrong. That is 100% true.
Oh, okay. So I'll be back. I got to go to the CES event now. Going to the CES event. I'll see what's across the hall and report in.
But yeah, so the new joint project between Sony and Honda was unveiled. It looks sort of like, and I kind of explained this to one of my friends posted it because he's down there, posted a picture of it while he was down there. And I said, it's kind of like, and I wish I had taken the time to find the picture, but you can go look at it on the internet if you want. I'll go find it and put it in the chat. It kind of looks like, you remember in Demolition Man from 1993 where they took normal cars and futurized them, made them look like they came. That's what this looks like. It looks like somebody took a Lamborghini and was like, what's Lamborghini going to look like in 20 years? And then that's what they came up with. Anyway, it's cool. It's got it's got some cool tech. It's allegedly going to have some pretty decent battery power. That's yet to be seen. Nobody's actually taken one for a drive yet. It's supposed to come out in 2025. I won't hold my breath because, lots of things to happen before a car is released. There's a lot of things they'll have to go through, but it's kind of cool to see, a tech company and basically two companies that are pretty much the big dogs in their industries getting together to make a vehicle. That's kind of cool. So you have Honda, who has years of automotive knowledge, and you have Sony, who obviously has years of overpriced electronics. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of neat to see that as well. A lot of car companies are there this year because apparently cars are now considered electronic because electric cars. Mercedes is unveiling a few new vehicles as well. Some kind of cool stuff happening. I'm not a huge.
To be fair, cars have been electronic for quite some time.
Right, but I guess deemed as consumer electronics, going to the whole, we throw away everything now, so now we're going to start throwing away our cars more than we already do. But yeah, so there's some cool stuff there. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's some really interesting televisions coming out, especially gigantic televisions that I'm kind of figuring out who's buying these things, but I suppose they are being for sale. There's
but that harkens back to people asking what is item X worth on either Facebook groups, Discord, wherever, and people come up with this answer like, "Oh, I see somebody's asking $600 for it," but it might not sell. I mean, just because somebody's asking $600 for whatever doesn't mean they're going to sell it at $600. Same with these TVs. They might produce them. Is anybody actually going to buy them in real life? That's another question.
Oh, for sure. But, like Martin said, there's a couple of 183-inch televisions, and they're all the new tech of micro LED, which is really, really cool. There's some folding televisions now that were shown off. There's a bunch of folding. They like collapse into panels and they fold down into like a bench thing. So it's like and it's $250,000. So
But wait 5 years.
Yeah, it'll be $50.
It'll be $49.99.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then you also have some transparent, and this is the one I'm trying to get my head around, transparent televisions.
So you can see.
Why do I want to look at the wall behind my TV?
Yeah, I mean, usually the reason you put the TV there, you hide all the cables in behind it.
Exactly. Why am I looking? It's like, oh, look, I wonder if my wall is still there. Yep, it is. Yeah. Anyway, I don't see the unless you're going to like replace a window in your house with it. I don't see the benefit of the transparent television.
But then I agree with Joe's comment. People still watch traditional TV. Like
some people do.
We don't. I don't.
I don't watch like cable. But there's a TV on the wall here. There's 2 TVs in my house that we stream stuff.
Oh, yeah, we use that, but we use streaming everything. Yeah, if it's not on the streaming thing, we don't watch it.
But it's so funny because I get this. I don't know what the scam is, and I really got to start playing stupid because I usually cut them off because they're usually calling me at work. Yeah. But they call me from my cable company.
Right.
That's how they introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Bob from your cable company. And there's been a glitch in the matrix or whatever, and then they say, "Are you near your TV?" And I don't understand. Like, are they trying to hack into people's TVs or?
Well, a lot of smart TVs have been. A lot of smart TVs are vulnerable. Like no different than you can install Android apps on smart TVs that are no different than installing something on your phone that's going to allow people access to it. Right. So they're getting smarter. So,
but I usually cut them off because usually I'm at work and I'm like, I don't have time to be fucking dicked around. And I go, I don't own a TV. And
I'm Amish. I don't own a TV. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Here I am. I'm Amish and I'm working in IT. Yeah.
And I'm on a cell phone. All right. So going a little bit beyond CES here, guys, check out. There's lots of really cool stuff happening. New tech from Intel.
If you get tired of looking at all the electronics, jump across the hall to the adult award shows.
Correct. Yeah, and see who's getting the Broken Hip Award.
The Royal Shaft Award.
Yeah. So a couple other things that are happening this week. This week has been fantastically bad for tech employees. Just announced, like literally an hour ago, Google has laid off 1,000 employees.
I heard.
Yeah, or more. Yeah. They don't know the exact number yet, but the definition has been used, a few, which I suppose if you're Google, 1,000 employees is a few. But what else? This has been a week for layoffs, so I'm just going down through my list of companies.
Apparently, Martin in the chat said Discord's also done the same thing.
Yeah, Discord was one of them. Twitch also laid off hundreds of employees this week. Who else? There was a bunch of employees laid off. But yeah, there was like 5 or 6 big companies that laid off employees this week, and it was substantial numbers of employees too. Thousands are in the thing. So I don't know if this is just a purging from COVID. This is like the last of the purges from all the people that were hired during COVID, or if there's something actually, going on. I don't know. Stocks seems to be fairly normal. Nothing seems to be crazy on the market today. At least I didn't notice anything crazy. Except I did notice one thing this week, which brings me to my third topic, which is for the first time since 2011. I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011. Microsoft surpassed Apple as the most valuable company in the world for about an hour. And then the pre-orders of the Vision. Started. And Apple stock skyrocketed.
Speaking of the vision, this week Apple was supposed to meet with some YouTubers.
Yep.
I don't know why we weren't invited. Hello, hi Apple, call us.
Right.
As well as a few other bigwigs to show off the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And they were like going to say, "Here's your talking points. Here's what you can mention." Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And then they're supposed to circle back to them before or on the 24th. I remember reading this, and then because the release date is my birthday, the end of January. So
correct. So we'll see. I know that I'm interested to see who actually gets access to it, because there are a few YouTubers who kind of pissed off Apple in the past, so they don't get access to certain Apple products, especially some Canadian Apple or some Canadian tech reviewers. But they also are totally capable of buying one to review it. So
yeah,
we'll see. So I'm interested to see what and how that manifests itself over the next couple of weeks. I'm not sold, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Apple, by all means, prove me wrong, or but I don't see it being a
I'm in the same boat you are. I don't see it being the big thing that's going to pull Apple, because they've been losing money for the past.
No. They haven't been losing money. They haven't been making money. There's a difference.
Well, yeah, okay.
They haven't been making more money. They still make money. Yeah. It's just they haven't been making more money.
But people are buying less Apple stuff because they're going, my iPhone 14 works perfectly fine.
Why would I upgrade to a 15?
Right.
And you don't.
Well, for the longest time, Apple was like the Federal Reserve and just printed their own money, but they've kind of slowed down a lot with not having anything worthwhile for a while.
Yeah. But the other side too, I think Apple truly got bit when they got caught doing the battery stuff. I truly believe that the designed obsolescence was designed into the iPhone from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got caught, that's when they slowly started selling less iPhones.
Yep.
Because people were keeping them longer. Whereas prior to that, people were probably replacing them every 2 to 3 years.
Well, honestly, there really hasn't been that much of a difference other than a faster phone or,
the camera does 2 pixels more than the other one.
So really, I don't know that it's worth upgrading. I mean, so I have the titanium.
I'm still using my 11.
Is any difference from the old one?
Okay, guys, I'm going to take my geezer phone out here now. Galaxy 9S. I don't. 2017, baby.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything different than my old phone did that I can notice. So
it's interesting that JC mentions this, but they need to jump on the AI bandwagon. Apparently, a lot of the bigwigs on the back end of Apple have been trying to force them to go more the AI route than the Vision route.
Yeah.
Tim Apple.
Tim Cook.
Tim Apple. That's the thing.
Tim Cook.
Yeah,
Tim Cook Apple.
He's like, we're going to do it my way, so.
Yeah. We'll see. They're just like Curtis said, they're just doing it more subtly. I mean, Siri is going to get the full AI treatment if she already had the full AI
and they just haven't said anything,
All right.
Yeah. That is
and Tim also, like Joe says, Tim knows that AI is a huge liability. Well, right now, there's a big court case going to happen. It's the Wall Street Journal versus OpenAI, and depending on how that works out, will determine whether or not AI is going to be something that is going to be stymied a little bit here, or if it's going to be allowed to continue. See, their argument is you used Wall Street Journal articles to teach your AI, all right? And they say, well, that's unfair because you've used our intellectual property. Now, in my mind, a human can read Wall Street Journal article and expand its knowledge, not necessarily having to purchase that Wall Street Journal from the Wall Street Journal. So I don't see why it's so bad that a computer can read the same art. Like, I get it that they're trying to get their cut of the, but anyway.
And yes, it was Trump.
It was Tim
Curtis that called him Tim Apple.
Tim Apple, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's sort of some of the stuff that's going on. The other little point I wanted to make was another little delve into the automotive industry. Hertz Rent-A-Car just dumped all of their EVs, including all of their Teslas. And in fact, they are basically flooding the market with less than, market valued Teslas right now. So I'd be interested to see how the used market for Teslas is going to hold up, because I think it's about to go pretty shitty. Because
you think it's going to go belly up?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be really suck if you're trying to sell a secondhand Tesla right now, when I can just go to Hertz and buy one for $21,000 US, and you're trying to sell me one for 30. So
yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Might have to hold on to yours a little longer.
Hold on a little longer, or drop your price.
And by the way, I just want to make a note here. I just bought a new rotary phone. And speaking of rotary phones, what do I happen to have right at hand?
Ooh, your Commodore phone.
Look at this, a Commodore phone. I just thought I would show this with the logo.
Never heard of it.
Since we have Geek with Social Skills here. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Listen, don't be jealous because you can't get one down there.
So, as I'll also announce, like we haven't really talked about it, but I've officially booked my tickets to Chicago for September. I'll be attending VCF Midwest. So I highly recommend everybody come out to meet me, because I'm so important. But the question is, how many Commodore phones do I need to smuggle in my prison wallet down to the actual event?
All I'm gonna say is that you need to bring enough for one for everybody. That's at the event.
I'm going to have to eat a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah. So I'm very excited. It was sort of a bit of a whim. I watched Ron and Steve and Eric's. Yes, Ron, Steve, and Eric's video the other night, where they did a little live stream about the announcement of the new venue for VCF Midwest, as well as some of the changes that are coming for VCF Midwest, as well as some of the changes they would like to see as people who've gone previously. And it turns out that Air Canada, which is odd for Air Canada, was having one hell of a sale on flights, and very serendipitously, I was able to get a flight thanks to my father left me a bunch of air mile points when he passed, and told me to do something stupid with them. So VCF Midwest, very excited.
And how much was your plane ticket round trip after the points?
So, I'll say before the points round trip, it was $534, which is still fantastic.
That's still a stupid.
Right. After my points, it was $236 taxes in, with a bunch of upgrades.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Retro Techie, we can get off the island. It's based on good behavior and social credits.
Oh, they don't do the lottery system there?
No, it's social credits.
JC said sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes we get off. We have to wrestle. There's it's like Thunderdome. So
except for they have to wrestle seals.
Correct. Oh. We call it going to the club. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
So this year, speaking of VCF Midwest, there's going to be Ryan. Frederick and I need to get together one of these nights and do a private chat so we can talk a little more in depth on that. But we're planning on going down. At least I am. I think Frederick is going down. And we might have Dan, the computer.
I'm working on Dan. I'm working on him. And specifically because Steve said he had to go. And we know that whatever Steve says has to be true.
Has to be true. And then Curtis Boyle, were you thinking of going? Because Curtis is also Canadian out west.
Correct. We're trying to get as many people north. We're trying to get as many people north of the wall to invade.
Because we are the nation of domination.
Yeah. Is Frederick going?
Yes, I believe Frederick is going. I'm going to just say, Frederick's going, we can ask him, but I'm just gonna say he's
Oh,
going.
that's right. You're carpooling.
We're thinking of carpooling.
So right as of this moment, the venue hasn't been announced, but I did email the people running it, and they confirmed to me that it is going to still be in Chicago, which obviously makes sense. It wouldn't be anywhere else. As well as they confirmed to me that it is close to O'Hare, or closer to O'Hare Airport. So that means you'll fly into O'Hare.
Don't go giving away all my secrets now.
Joe, you're going to try to make it? Oh, well, then I guess I won't go this year.
Wow.
I kid, of course.
You know how it is. All the important people can't be in one place at the same time.
Well, with the power vacuum of our egos would just be like...
So, Frederick, sometime this week, some evening, I would like to do a Discord video call with you so we can just powwow some thoughts on that.
As would I.
Why do you want to
for unrelated topic?
Oh, okay. I'm like, are we picking you up along the way?
No. I've been watching Frederick's 6502 build video and the Z80 build video, and then he has a new build that he's doing. So yeah, very cool.
So Frederick, stuff. You are apparently very popular with us.
In demand, yes, in demand.
Yes. Which is ironic because he's French Canadian.
He doesn't advocate for it. He actually physically takes part in it.
Look. Just because I killed it and wear it as a hat.
Now, come on, we've all
doesn't mean I'm bad.
Oh man.
Now, in fairness, when it comes to because I am an advocate of our sealing industry here in Newfoundland, it is humane. Nobody clubs seals anymore. That's false knowledge. Every seal is shot no different than you would shoot a deer while you were hunting, right? Nobody clubs the seal.
They don't use dynamite.
It's a waste of a lot of energy. It's much easier to shoot a seal because they are fierce creatures and they will fuck you up if you get too close to them.
And have you seen the size of people in Newfoundland? They're kind of bigger. So really,
we're lazy.
Have you not seen Ryan's Volkswagen? That's how he got that moose.
Yeah, that's how I got the moose. I had to run that moose down. Yeah, it's like Curtis Boyle says, dynamite used for power fishing. Exactly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
It's like today, so I jumped on Facebook because I was waiting for a reply from the horrible seller I dealt with today. Anyway, well, not really horrible seller. He seemed to be nice enough, just had absolute crap to sell. Basically, come buy my e-waste is what it basically turned into.
So he's Trina. Gotcha.
Yeah, except for my e-waste.
From another province.
At least my e-waste somewhat is still together. I'm not trying to sell a 2007 MacBook with no screen, keyboard, battery, blah, 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 blah. Just some logic for a second. Anyway, where was I going with that?
Who wants to buy this aluminum?
Oh my God. I totally lost my train of thought.
Choo-choo!
The seller sucked.
Okay, just ignore me.
You were on Facebook waiting for the seller to get back to you.
Oh, yes. And because we were talking about how lazy people are in Newfoundland. And there was a picture of, I assume it was Ryan's wife, holding a cat.
My cat. Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember what your cat's name is right now.
O'Malley.
And so I showed my coworker the picture, and I'm like, look at this little kitty. And he's like, oh, that's so cute. I'm like, wait a second. And I went to the text where you sent me the picture of the box.
Yeah.
And there's O'Malley, and he's like, is that the same cat? I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah.
That cat ate the other cat in the picture.
He's a big kitty. Yeah, he's 23 pounds. He's okay.
Thick. I said 25.
That boy is thick.
Yeah.
But speaking of thick, I'm actually on a new lifestyle change. So I'm actually going back to my pre-COVID weight. I was 100 pounds lighter before COVID.
Nice.
So hopefully by the time VCF Midwest rolls around, I will be back at a much more manageable Brian size. I was once at a concert here in Newfoundland once. Floors, everyone was standing up, and I realized I could see over everyone's head and realized Everyone here is short. Yeah, it's true. We are fairly short. I consider myself tall at 5'11".
That's where Danny DeVito's from.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Danny DeVito.
Danny's actually my neighbor.
Oh gosh,
Danny's my neighbor.
that's right.
I grew up with his family. Hey.
You got to be careful though, because he often gets mistaken for penguins, which we also club.
I don't know if there's any of us.
If it's got a skull and it's on the ice.
A couple pounds.
Yeah, okay, but as you just said, you Newfoundlanders are lazy, so you're probably running over the penguins with your vehicle or skidoo.
Wait, all I can imagine now, along with this topic of conversation, is the fat people on Wall-E in those chairs.
Yeah.
Lounging about everywhere.
But running over penguins.
That is basically Newfoundland.
Newfoundland's a nursing home. They're all in these electric chairs just riding around.
No, we actually are a fairly we actually have a really interesting population. We are overweight, but we have some of the most interesting gene research happening here because we have such a strange gene pool. We actually have the highest concentration of colorblind people in the world. Which is odd.
Wonder why that is.
Minus the tech. No, we have some tech. We have some pretty good tech.
They do have one con. Ryan doesn't.
No,
actually,
from a technology perspective, we actually are pretty we have some pretty cool stuff happening here.
Yeah.
So there's a company called Verifin here that invented the software that looks for illegal bank transactions for American banks. It's like a total. Cool. It's a system. It's pretty cool. They're actually a great company to work for. They just sold a couple of years ago to a hedge fund in the States for $4 billion, which was the largest tech purchase in Newfoundland history, which is kind of cool. They have pretty space age new offices. Do family trees their branch, or is it a state?
Okay, that's it is in the South. U.S.
Yeah,
that's all we're saying.
Now you say that, but back in the day, the Pope at the back in the day gave Newfoundland two stipulations. One being that you could marry your first cousin, and the second being that seal is considered a fish, so you could eat it on Good Friday. So.
Interesting two stipulations, completely opposite ends of the spectrum, but
yeah. So technically, seal's a fish, and you can marry your cousin.
Oh, and by the way, penguins are Antarctic, not Arctic.
Yes, but if you take them to the Arctic, they survive just as well as they do in the Antarctic. So,
by the way, if you want to see a really funny line of the Arctic versus the Antarctic, watch The Big Fat Quiz of Everything 2019. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Do you know there is actually no North Pole? There's no landmass. It's water. So
the pole technically
it's there, yes, but there's no land. You're just standing on ice, and if that ice disappears,
but hey, hold on. Santa lives there. There's land.
Right.
We've seen it in movies. Santa lives there.
Sure. Santa lives in northern Greenland. Santa lives in northern Greenland. And by the way, reindeer are actually caribou and are delicious.
Oh, and by the way, Scarlett, it wasn't me that took the pole. That was Steve, so he could do his pole dances at VCF Midwest this year. It's $20 a dance, payable to me directly. I will be putting up my PayPal information.
You can also pay $25 to not have her dance.
Not me, Steve.
I'm
not dancing.
No, Steve's coming in drag, so yeah, her.
Oh.
Drag Steve.
I saw the funniest clip the other day, and it was this bar that put on a Harry Potter themed drag show, and it was hilarious.
Is it on YouTube?
I think so. I'll have to find it and send you the link. I just thought it was so cool. Not like the last show I sent you.
Curtis, I believe that war is still going on. I think we've just kind of had a little hiatus because they leave peach schnapps and we leave whiskey. If memory serves.
Are we sorry? Wait. The North Head was with That's further north was the war Canada had with Denmark that finally got resolved.
It's not a real war. It was our guys would go take their flag down and leave a bottle of Canadian whiskey, and then a couple of months later, their people would go and take our flag down and leave a bottle of peach schnapps or something.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it was settled in 2022. Okay, cool. I didn't realize it was settled. I kind of wish it didn't, because that's kind of a fun little folklore thing that's kind of cool to have continue forever.
Unfortunately, unsupervised, I can't go because I'm here in Toronto. I would love to go to SoCal at some point, but definitely not in the cards. For me.
It's the most Canadian border dispute that ever existed. We have some pretty sketchy Russian border disputes too that have happened over the years, where people fly into other people's territories inappropriately. So
that actually would be a pretty funny show. Someone needs to have a RetroTech OnlyFans where they take the cases off the retro PCs to see what's underneath. What's in this case?
We got this Mac wheel. Look at this. Oh yeah, it's nice and soft.
Oh
so,
my.
I'm going to put that question out to those in the chat. Is anybody in the chat planning on going to VCF SoCal in February? Speaking of which...
I would imagine Garth is, if I was to guess.
Garth? Yeah, maybe.
Garth, maybe Dave? I don't know how far away...
And speaking of...
If Dave has internet to know.
Right.
Go out that way.
For those who don't know, I've arranged 2 guests for the upcoming Retro Repair Roundup on the 21st, I want to say. I'm just pulling the date on my butt. 21st,
21st.
which will be talking about VCF SoCal. And
Cool.
one of them is the showrunner for it. So
nice.
Yeah.
Garth and Dave are fairly far north. Now, see, that seems like an episode of some sort of like 1970s Canadian
buddy comedy.
Yeah. I'm Garth. I'm Dave. Welcome to the show. Right? Like,
something Billy Crystal would have did.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because I always forget how big California is. Like, California's pretty big. Like, is that like Bob and Doug? Exactly like Bob and Doug. That's exactly how I was envisioning it. Anyway, it's been a short show this night. We have a couple of formatting changes that are going to come up in the next couple of weeks. We're doing a little bit more formal. We're going to do a few transitions, kind of spit and polish, take the turd and make it a little shiny.
And just to appease Ohio, North Carolina, and Florida, we don't mean transitions in regards to people. So you can still watch us in those states and not be banned.
Very good.
That's true. Just a teaser of one of the new segments that's coming up.
Yep.
I know what I got.
We're going to do
but can you stand up for a second, by the way, Frank? And show off your shirt again? So, if anybody would like to buy one of these T-shirts, if Joe wouldn't mind dropping the link in the chat, you can buy it on
JCM-1.com.
Right.
That's right.
And it's under Ron's section. So
that's right.
If you guys want to purchase those T-shirts or mugs, for anyone who doesn't understand the backstory, I'll leave that up to Joe to explain. It's a sort of an inside joke, but those who know, and those who don't are in for a hilarious story.
I actually informed 3 of my coworkers at work four of my coworkers at work yesterday, because I went in and I'm like, I had a hoodie that had a zipper, and I'm like, I unzipped my hoodie. I'm like, look at my shirt. One of them thought it was an eye test.
Okay, yeah.
Because of the polka dots. So I had to explain.
Funny. Oh, the other person who was laying off people. Sorry, I just realized I just saw it there in my tab. Unity, the game manufacturer, who got in trouble there last month for trying to implement a pay per install scheme for anybody who uses their Unity platform to develop video games. Right. So they were going to start charging video game developers per install.
Uh-huh.
Right? So people flipped out. Anyway, they kind of rolled that back and said they weren't going to do it.
Right.
But ultimately, they did end up unloading a bunch of employees because they have been not be able to make money.
They've been hemorrhaging, or probably hemorrhaging a bit of money.
They are hemorrhaging money because their business model, while it works, it doesn't work properly. Oh. They do need to charge for certain things, but they need to do like a subscription base for the developers, not charge per install. That's just foolish.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, it was a charge per install over $1 million, and it was only if your game made more than, I think it was if your game made more than, no, it was your game made more than $100,000 and it had 1 million installs, then you had to pay per install. But still, it was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But on that note, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Do those stupid things, make our channel grow. Yeah, ring that bell. We only do this once a week, every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, you're not going to get you're not going to get any more notifications from us than once a week.
Although there will be a scattered birthday stream, as we did earlier in the month for my birthday. We did a stream on a Wednesday night, so sometimes you'll be intermittent streams if something cool happens, or if it's one of our birthdays and we want to do a stream.
Sure.
So, but other than that, yeah, you won't see much of us.
Yeah.
You won't see any of Frank because he's gone right now.
I know. I don't know what happened. So on that note, I'm going to hit the end stream, and we're going to say thank you all for watching.
Adios.
And